Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mark Karau. I am a professor of history and humanities here at the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay, and also chair of the humanities program here at Green Bay. And I want to take just a few minutes of your time here today to talk a little bit about our program, what the humanities is, what you will study if you choose to major or minor in the humanities, and to give you a little taste of some of the classes that we have coming up and some of the classes that you would take if you were going to, again, major or minor in one of these, in our discipline, in one of our tracks. So, first and foremost, what exactly is the humanities? What do we do? Well, as you might guess from the title, we study the human condition. We study what it means to be human. We study some of the great works that human beings have created over the centuries. We look at major texts. We look at major works of art. We follow a strongly interdisciplinary approach to doing so. So the humanities encompasses a wide-ranging number of fields, all of which that are rooted in the classical medieval universities of Europe, obviously updated for a modern day, but with this long tradition of study. So what exactly is included in terms of fields? Well, obviously the humanities itself. And we have a number of courses that are very specifically humanities courses. But we also include within the umbrella of the humanities First Nations studies, philosophy, modern languages, history, and English composition. All of these programs are contained within the humanities unit, and all of the faculty in these various programs contribute courses to the humanities major and minor. So you would be taking courses in English, in history, in philosophy, in perhaps Spanish or German. If you chose First Nations studies, you would be looking at the study of Native American cultures and religions and societies. So we're very broad, we're wide-ranging, and we're very interdisciplinary. The interdisciplinary nature of the humanities is one of the things that is strongly appealing about it. It gives you a chance to study societies and history and culture from multiple perspectives. To get down to some of the brass tacks and the nitty-gritty, if you were to major in humanities, there are 3 tracks that you would follow. One of them is world cultures, another is digital and public humanities, the third is ancient and medieval studies. If majoring is not the way you want to go, but you are interested in minoring, then there are a number of additional minor tracks. Some of the major tracks have minor versions, minor varieties of them. So you could minor in ancient and medieval studies or world cultures instead of majoring in either of those. Or you could pursue a minor track in environmental humanities, in religious studies, in film studies, or in linguistics, or teaching English as a second language. Something that's very useful if you intend to go overseas and spend time in a foreign country, that you can also earn a certificate in. So, to give you a little sense of what one of these major and minor tracks would include, I'm going to take a snapshot look at 2 of them. I don't have time in a 20-minute video to go into the detail on every single one of these, but I will use a couple as examples for you. And the first thing we're going to take a look at is world cultures. Since this is both a major and a minor, it seems like a good place to start. So if you're going to look at world cultures as a major or a minor, what are you going to do? Well, this slide gives you a little sense of that. You're going to look at how cultures around the world have documented their human experience and how have they answered some of the big questions, as in what does it mean to be human? So you will study other countries' languages and history and writers. What does that teach us about the variety of human experience? Can it provide empathy? It certainly can provide a greater grounding and understanding. And it's something that I personally strongly believe everyone should be exposed to. We'll look at historical documents. You'll look at philosophical texts, literature, and films from other cultures. The purpose is to expose you to these other cultures and give you, as we say here, a more nuanced insight and a deeper understanding of the world. From a more practical, I suppose, perspective, the world cultures, minor or major, will make you a better informed and more articulate global citizen and make you a more marketable member of a global workforce. As the world continues to globalize, and that is a trend that I do not see changing anytime soon, you are going to need to have these kinds of skills to compete, especially an ability to communicate in more than one language. And then you will also be looking at interacting with individuals from other cultures and getting their perspectives once the world hopefully returns to some semblance of normal. And once again, we are able to do study abroad, trips, and programs. Those fit very well into the study of world cultures. Who should be an interdisciplinary world cultures major or minor? Lots of people. If you're interested in history, literature, philosophy, language from other countries around the world, then this is for you. If you are looking at being more of an international citizen as opposed to strictly an American citizen, you want an international context, this is for you. If you plan on working or teaching overseas or in any kind of multicultural environment after you graduate, this is for you. If you want to pursue graduate school in any of these fields, history, literature, philosophy, this is a good grounding. And frankly, it's also a lot of fun. It's particularly interesting, I think, speaking personally, to learn about all of these other places around the world and to get that kind of broad exposure to other ideas and other people. From a nuts and bolts perspective, looking at the major and minor tracks in world cultures, what would you end up specifically taking as classes? Well, you need to take English composition, but that's pretty widely required for everything. That is an absolutely vital skill that you need to have. And then you would choose 3 credits from one of the 2 following courses. Either Humanities or Humanistic Studies 100 or 201, which are the intro courses, both of which are interdisciplinary, either of which satisfies that 3 credit option. Then you would take, out of the following group, at least 1 class, either a class in world literatures, the Intro to Philosophy course, or a course in world civilizations, or Humanistic Studies or History 101 and 102, which are the foundations of Western culture, or basically, in your parents' lingo and my lingo, Western civilization courses. The last group you'd be choosing from would be an introduction to First Nation studies, or ethnic diversity, or African American history, something non-Western. Then this is sort of your basic grounding, your 12 credit foundation. What we're looking at right now are the major and minor tracks in the World Cultures section of the Humanities program. So I talked a little bit about sort of the basic foundational courses you would take, the lower level courses, and now we're looking at your junior and senior courses. So one category would be global encounters, and then the second category would be Western cultures. So you're looking at other cultures, now you're looking at Western cultures, which is basically European culture, American culture. So you'd take either one class off of this list or two classes off of this list for a major. You could always do more, of course, as well. You're not limited to only one or two. And this gives you a little sense of some of the things that you would be looking at. Again, a number of these are set courses. They're more or less going to be offered the same. The ancient medieval worlds, the Renaissance, the Age of Reason. Others, like German cinema, may change from one semester to the next in terms of what you're looking at. There are some, like the topics course, which will change fairly significantly from one semester to the next. The topic may be completely different. And then as category 3, we're again looking beyond the West, and there's a shorter list here, but you would be, again, one course for a minor, two courses for a major. Topics and world cultures, that's a changing course. The topic changes again from one semester to the next. We do have a DJS course that works in here, and that is topics in democracy and justice, dealing with South Africa specifically. And then you would take a sort of a capstone elective, either the Humanities seminar, which would be an individual focused on an individual topic, different every time, or you would take an internship. You would work something out with your advisor that would be appropriate for a humanities internship, or, again, once the world returns to normal, you'd take a travel course as part of your capstone. For a major, you would then need one additional course. It could be from any of these other lists, and then 2 semesters of a foreign language, something non-English. So that gives you a little idea as to what one major would look like, and minor. This is just a minor. So here we're looking at just film and cinema studies as an example of one of our minors. A little bit lighter, of course, you're looking at 27 credits. You would take, again, 4 kind of foundational courses off of this particular menu. So you'd be looking at either Intro to Film, Film and Society, American Indians in Film, perhaps theater courses, Acting 1 and Acting 2. And then in your upper level courses, you would take 2 of those 3, either German cinema, Spanish and Latin American cinema, or indigenous nations. Or there's possible other courses that might come in at some point that would fulfill those credits that your advisor might be able to plug in for you. 6 credits off of the second section that are more production related, screenwriting, advanced topics in creative writing, which could be screenwriting, directing, things of that sort, and then again an internship to cap things off. We call the internships and the capstones high impact practices. And that's where you're kind of bringing everything that you've spent the previous 3.5 years learning together. So that gives you a little sense of some of what it would be involved in choosing a humanities major or minor. If you want to take a short-term look at just what our courses are going to be that we're offering this coming spring as perhaps a starting point for you, here is part of our list. This is 2 actual slides because of the number of courses we're offering. Obviously, we're going to offer several of the foundational courses, the Foundations of Western Culture, the World Civ. There are multiple sections of each of those. Intro to Humanities, Film and Society. So those are your freshman and sophomore level courses. Upper level courses, Language and Identity, Sociolinguistics, Interdisciplinary Studies and Interdisciplinary Themes, and then some 400 level courses There will be topics in the major course dealing with Latino culture and civilization, and then another topics in the major course dealing with the Holocaust in history and literature. Most of these in the 300 and 400 level are offered less frequently than the 1 and 200 levels. The 100 levels are offered every semester. The 200 levels are offered every semester or every year. The 300 and 400s are usually going to be offered every other year, though some may be offered every year. And others, like the special topics courses, they may only be offered once every 3 or 4 years. For example, the 483 is my own course, taught with Valerie Morenas-Pillmeyer from English. It's the first time we're going to be offering it. I hope we'll be offering it again in the next couple of years, but I can't say that 100% for certain. The internship is every semester. The independent study is every semester. Special topics, that the 500 level, that comes and goes. Some questions and answers. So questions from students about the humanities. Can you major and minor in multiple tracks? Sure, absolutely, as long as you have the room to do it within your credit load. Do your Gen Ed courses count toward these majors and minors? Yeah, they do. The ones that fulfill both will count towards your major and minor. What other majors and minors are commonly paired up? The ones you would expect, but also some others. History, English, as you can see here, modern languages, ones that are within the humanities unit. But also business. I talked about business earlier, doing business in a global marketplace. Business and international business kind of dovetail there. Education, certainly. Global studies. DJS, which is Democracy and Justice Studies, also dovetails well with humanities. Where do our humanities students work after they graduate? Well, the short answer is pretty much wherever they want. Some end up working in business. Some become teachers. They work in schools. Some go to law school. Some work in museums, libraries. Many go overseas and are involved in international education. I mentioned study abroad trips earlier. We do a number of those. Obviously, right now, everything is out of whack with that because of things beyond anybody's control. But those will be returning, and they will count towards your humanities major and minor. How many credits do you need? It varies. The film studies that we looked at was just one example. It might be as little as 18. It could be as many as 27. So the numbers vary from one to another. The field is diverse. It is interdisciplinary. In my estimation, it is fascinating. I work with really intelligent, highly skilled educators. The people in this program are fantastic, and you will learn a ton from all of them. I highly encourage you, if you have an interest in humanities, to reach out to me or to anyone else in the humanities program. We'll be more than happy to give you further information and to try and answer any questions you may have. My contact information is Karau, Karau, M, at uwgb.edu. So you can certainly contact me or any other faculty member within the program, and they will be happy to answer any questions you may have. We hope to see you in class. Thanks for your time.